Dear students, let us study today one English chapter with the photographer. The story with the photographer is taken from the literary collection of Stephen Leacock titled Behind the Beyond, another contribution to human knowledge. The author wants to give his photo to his friends as a means to remember him after his death. However, the purpose is defeated when the photographer alters the photo to make it look better, but it results in being different from the author's appearance. The story with the photographer conveys the theme of original self and distorted self. It also gives a message of acceptance and confidence. While the author is at the studio waiting for his turn, he reads a few magazines which carry photos of models. This creates a sense of inferiority and perfectionism in the author. He also makes efforts to improvise his photo, whereas initially he just wanted a photo for his friends as his memory. The harsh comments of photographer awaken the author. He respects God's creation and becomes confident of his appearance. The author Stephen is 40 years old at the time of this incident. He wants to get a photograph of his to be given to his friends as a memory to remember him after his death. With this aim, he visits a photographer. The dull, stooping man asks the author to wait, and he is kept waiting for an hour. He reads various magazines in the meantime. On being called, he is asked to sit on a stool. The photographer pulls a huge camera and gets inside it. He is not satisfied with what he sees, and so he comes out and removes all the curtains with a rod, perhaps to get more light and air inside the room. He goes back into the machine and stays for some time, and the author thinks that perhaps he is praying to God to get a good photo. He exits the machine with a serious expression and comments that the author's face is wrong and it would be better if it were more chubby. The author gets hurt by such words, agrees with the man, and adds that even the photographer's face would look better if it were more chubby. He adds that many faces are such that they will look better if they are wider, larger, and huge. The photographer goes on to hold the author's face in his hands as if to kiss him. He then twists it as far as he can and says that the head is not appreciable. He goes inside the machine, asks the author to open the mouth and then to close it. Then he comments that the ears are bad too. He makes the author droop the ears, roll the eyes, bend the neck, squeeze the stomach, etc., to make the face fuller, but it is not satisfied. As the narrator is about to rise from the stool, a photo is clicked, and the photographer says that he has barely managed to capture the right expressions on the author's face. However, the author revolts by saying that it is his face as God has made and he is aware of its appearance not being attractive. However, he accepts it as it is. Now, as the man has clicked a photo, the author wants to have a look but is asked to return to develop the negative and make a proof. On the designated day, the photographer shows him a proof of his photograph which does not resemble the author. On being asked, the photographer reveals that he has used his drawing caliber and a few techniques to improve the photo so that it looks better. The author is disheartened because all he wanted was a photo which looked like him. He says that the photograph was a masterpiece of the photographer's skills and he must keep it to show to his family and friends. As for the author, it is worthless thing. With this, he leaves the studio teary-eyed. This is a short story, but it has got a very good moral. The people should always remain original when to project themselves before the public or any people. This gives us that The author wants to show his original self to his friends after his death. But what happens? The photographer has given him a photograph which is totally altered. This is not acceptable to the author because he thinks that after death he should be remembered as he is. Now the photographer has given his a photo which is too beautiful. This is not acceptable to the author. This story gives a great message, tells us a big moral that we should always leave us with our originality. Thank you, students. In the next class, we will be discussing some another English chapter. Thank you.